I once worked with a guy who thought he could control an entire team with nothing but a cheap title, a fake smile, and mandatory happy hours. He tried to humiliate me in front of 30 people for refusing to obey him. So I used one perfectly legal email to strip away every ounce of power he thought he had. And the look on his face? You're gonna want to hear this. If you've ever dealt with a boss who mistook authority for permission to bully people, hit that subscribe button. Like the video, drop a comment, and get ready, because this story is the definition of poetic justice. Let's get into it. The office I worked in wasn't glamorous, but it was stable 30 or so people. Decent pay, the usual fluorescent lighting that made everyone look slightly undercooked. Most of us had been there for years, slowly climbing the ladder, doing our jobs well, and waiting for opportunities to open up. When our team lead position became available, people were excited. Finally, a chance for someone competent and respected to take the reins, and then the company promoted him. Not the best candidate, not even someone with potential. No, they promoted the newest, most inexperienced, least qualified guy on the entire roster. A guy who hadn't even been there a year. A guy who had exactly one skill: sucking up to upper management with the intensity of a vacuum cleaner on turbo mode. Even before his promotion, people didn't like him much. He was the type who tried to act like he was above the rest of us, correcting people on tiny mistakes, reminding everyone how close he was with management, bragging about conversations that probably never happened. But after the promotion, the dislike turned into something deeper. It's genuinely fascinating how some people, when given even a tiny scrap of power, will cling to it like they're holding the nuclear codes. And even more fascinating how others willingly degrade themselves to be near that power, hoping to catch the overflow. The worst part was that HR should never have even allowed him to apply. There were rules, actual written rules, about how long you had to be at the company. Your previous experience, your performance history, multiple qualified people applied. People with spotless records, people who had led groups before, people who were genuinely respected. HR ignored all of it. Like the grievances filed against him never even existed. It was as if the decision had been made long before the process even began. So this guy becomes one of 3 team leads under the manager. And middle management knew immediately that the team hated him. They weren't blind. They saw the awkward silences, the flat expressions, the forced niceties that evaporated the second he walked away. So they gave him a directive: get the team to like you. Which is hilarious because the only people who like these types of people are the ones hoping for favors. His brilliant solution? Monthly happy hours? Not required, of course. Oh no, he made that crystal clear. But you should think of them as required. Now, to someone like him, after-work drinks sound harmless, even fun. But a lot of people on the team had an hour commute each way. Some had kids, some had second jobs, some were tired because, life is exhausting. But because it was pushed by a team lead, and because everyone was still afraid for their jobs, people panicked. They scrambled to rearrange their lives, finding babysitters, rescheduling appointments, losing precious personal time, all because a man desperate for popularity wanted people to be seen with him. I was not one of those people. See, unlike most of them, I understood my rights. I was hourly. If I wasn't on the clock, they couldn't require me to be anywhere or do anything. Period. So I declined, politely, calmly, repeatedly, and that drove him insane. He kept coming by my cubicle with this fake friendly tone people use when they trying to coerce you, but don't I want witnesses. Hey man, you coming tonight? You really should be there. Everyone's going. Don't be that guy. It'll look bad if you skip. I smiled and said, if you want me there, put me on the clock. He did not like that answer. He huffed, turned on his heel, and acted like I'd personally insulted his ancestors. The night of the happy hour came and went. I went home. Ate real food, watched a show, enjoyed my time. Meanwhile, half the team was sitting in a bar pretending to enjoy themselves, watching the clock, silently resenting every minute. The next morning, the office had the energy of a hostage situation. People were walking in with that exhausted, I can't believe I sacrificed my night for this dude expression. And yet, when he floated by, everyone suddenly switched on their bright, enthusiastic, oh yeah, it was great act, You could practically see the desperation leaking out of them. At around 10 we had our stand-up meeting. He stood there, grinning like a man who thought he'd accomplished something. "Great turnout last night," he said, as if people had attended voluntarily. "Really good to see everyone bonding." Except his eyes landed on me. Some people were too antisocial to show up. Some people don't understand the importance of being a team player. Management notices when people don't show up to important events. He said it loudly, publicly, in front of 30 coworkers. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't playful teasing. It was a warning. A threat wrapped in leadership. And that's when the switch flipped inside me. He tried to bully me privately. That wasn't enough for him. He tried to shame me publicly. Still not enough. He tried to imply that my job was at risk unless I played along with his little power fantasy. No, absolutely not. He picked the wrong person for that. 20 minutes after that meeting ended, I wrote an email. A simple, friendly, helpful little email. No anger, no accusations. No confrontation. "Hey all," I wrote, "someone just asked me about after-work events that are unpaid. So I figured I'd send this to everyone. State statute, blah, says that for hourly employees like us, we can't be required to attend these types of events unless we re on the clock. So if you ever can't find a sitter or can't make it, don't worry. You're totally fine." I hit send to all, and then I sat back and watched. The email spread like wildfire. People thanked me privately, some openly. Many forwarded it to others. I became, unintentionally, the hero of the tired, the parents, the overworked, the people who didn't want to pretend to enjoy beer with their boss, and our team lead. He wilted. The next happy hour was a disaster. He sat alone at a bar table, nursing a drink, looking around like a kid waiting for friends who were never coming. The only people who showed up were two of his loyal sycophants. And even they looked embarrassed to be there. The month after that? Worse, he sat by himself, completely alone. The bartender became his only conversation partner. Management didn't step in. They didn't cancel the events. They didn't reprimand anyone. Because they couldn't, the law was the law. And he had been exposed not as a leader, but as a wannabe tyrant trying to strong-arm people into liking him. His mandatory but not mandatory power evaporated overnight. People stopped acting scared around him. They stopped pretending. They stopped entertaining his attempts to chum it up like he was everyone's cool uncle. He had wanted popularity. He got solitude, he wanted respect, he got silence, he wanted control. He got nothing. And me? I didn't have to say a word. All it took was one well-timed email and a basic understanding of labor law. He later tried other ways to win people over, bringing donuts, forcing team games, wandering around asking people about their weekends, but the damage was permanent. Once someone reveals who they are, you can't shove that genie back into the bottle. Eventually, upper management realized they'd made a mistake. Not publicly, these people never admit anything but subtly. They stopped giving him stretch assignments, stopped including him in higher-level meetings, stopped asking him to represent the team. He became a figurehead, a powerless title holder, a man who had authority on paper and nothing else. The poetic justice wasn't loud. It wasn't explosive. It was slow, quiet, inevitable. And it worked because it attacked the one thing he craved more than power: validation. Stepping back and looking at the whole thing, the lesson was simple. Power doesn't make someone a leader. Respect does. And the fastest way to lose respect is to demand it instead of earning it. If you've ever had a boss like this, someone who thought a tiny title made them a king, tell me your story in the comments. I love hearing moments of justice, especially the subtle ones that hit the hardest. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that fake power always collapses eventually. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.